How is it going, everyone? The Trouts91 here with another COD4 Remastered video, talking about my wish list going into this remake of COD4 with some COD4 gameplay in the background. This is another 40 bomb that I got from a live stream. Obviously, if you haven't checked my live streams out, I do them over on Twitch. There will be a link in the description so you can come watch me play some COD4 if you're feeling all nostalgic and you want to see me destroy some noobs in some COD4 action. But getting into the wish list, and I want you guys to participate by leaving some of your thoughts in the comments about what it is that you'd like to see in this remastered version of the game. Now, number one, I think is probably something that anyone who played COD 4 would probably say, yeah, I think that's a pretty fair comment, is nerf the grenades. Now, they were ridiculous on this game. They weren't, like, absolutely game-breaking, but the amount of, like, using grenades was basically a guaranteed kill for me in this game, because no matter what you did, as long as you throwed it in a general hot zone where people are going to be flying into there a fair bit, it's pretty much a kill. And more often than not, you're going to pick up 2 to 3 kills even. That's how good those grenades were. Not only just for that fact that the standard grenades were silly as anything at times, it's the martyrdom as well. Just because the explosion range on those things were ridiculous. And it didn't help the fact that the explosion time from when the grenade was dropped is much, much lower than a standard grenade being thrown out. So I'd like to see the grenades taken down a bit, although basically half of my COD 4 montages were me getting quad grenades because of how ridiculous they were. But it's neither here nor there. I'd like to see the grenades nerfed a little bit, because in some maps they can be a little bit ridiculous. In some game modes, especially when there's no flak jacket or trophy system, they can be quite difficult to get away from. Number 2. Now, some people are probably going to hate me for this and not agree in the slightest, but I'd like the damage multiplier boost that you get when putting an M40 ACOG on is taken away. So if you didn't know, the M40 obviously has a standard amount of damage, but it also gets a slight damage boost when you put an ACOG on it. Now, this allowed people to actually one-shot their opponents to the leg, or to the knee, or to the foot, basically, which is really silly if you think about it. I mean, snipers are supposed to one-shot from the body upwards with stopping power, and then to the chest upwards if you don't have stopping power. So it seems almost ridiculous in some ways that is a thing. So I honestly do hope they fix it, because it does allow people with this almost easy method to get themselves kills with an M40 without really having to do a lot. And personally, I'd like to see it a little bit more skillful than that and take that away, because the ACOG, let's be honest, on the M40 was already pretty ridiculous. So that's one thing I'd like to take away. If you don't agree with me in that sense, do let me know in the comments as well, and let me know why that is. Number 3, I'd like to see Hardpoint put in this game. Obviously, the most equivalent game mode we had on this was Headquarters. And if you've never played Headquarters before, basically our Hardpoint, you'd have a single rotation around the map where you have to go to this area, fend it off from your opponents, and instead of sitting in it, you have to cap the area. Once you cap the area, you have to defend it off from your opponents. And then after that, once you die, there are no respawns until the opponent sits there and recaps the point, meaning it will be destroyed and the headquarters is done. So you could end up holding that off for a long period of time. It could be very quick. But I'd like to see a headquarters mode be, a hardpoint mode put into this. Maybe change up the headquarters, maybe like a headquarters pro or something like that would be something to think about. It's one of those things I doubt they'll do, but hopefully we might see it. Number 4, I'd love to see a Spec Ops mode. I mean, I think one of the best things about some of the later Call of Duties was the Spec Ops, especially in something like Modern Warfare 2, maybe see some challenges. Obviously, we'll probably see things like Mile High Club. I'd love to see little things like that chucked into the game as a little side mission, bit of co-op play. Obviously, the campaign probably won't be co-op, but having something along those lines would be great, just to give you a little bit more going into it. Number 5 would be a complete custom classes in private matches. Now, anyone who's played competitive Call of Duty or been into private matches, you know in the newer Call of Duties, you have everything unlocked in private matches. Anything you want, any attachment, camo, well, camos? Can't remember. But any guns, perks, etc. that you don't have unlocked in the full multiplier is available in custom games. Now, that's great for people who play competitive, who are used to playing with stuff and you want to be able to use it on your classes in your private matches. The only thing is, in some of the older Call of Duties, you could only use whatever you unlocked, which actually prevented people from prestiging, because obviously if they're playing competitive matches, it means they've got to make sure they have everything they need unlocked, and it became a bit of a difficult time. So it's something I definitely want to be seen brought into it. Whether that happens, I don't know. It depends on how lazy they are with the remake. Number 6, I'd like to see new camos. Obviously, the old camos on this game, the red tiger, the blue tiger, all great camos, and I would love to see those obviously brought back in again, as well as the gold camos, but I'd love to see even some DLC stuff. Don't have to be stupidly expensive, but just bring them in. I mean, that's one thing that a lot of remakes do, Gears of War especially, and Halo, is they bring these new camos into the game to spice it up a bit. It'd be really nice to have certain challenges done to get those camos, give you something more to work for, especially on the game. Number 7, I'd like to see some more prestige rewards. Obviously, in the newer Call of Duties, we've got things like stat resets, extra classes, permanent unlocks when you prestige. That's a subtle thing that, obviously, with the prestige, Master Prestige coming out, I'd love to see something like that be thrown into the mix just to give you more incentive to prestige. I think most people are going to prestige on this game because a lot of the good guns are unlocked straight away, like the M16, MP5, all the AK-47, all these great guns are unlocked from the start, but I'd love to see permanent unlocks for those who want certain perks that are later unlocked into the game. Number 8, I think this is a tall ask, and I don't think it's going to happen, but theater mode would be great just to look back over your clips and be able to record stuff in a new way would be extremely, extremely helpful. Number 9, a spectator mode. Obviously, we've got the spectator mode in the newer Call of Duties. When you're watching some of the esports games, you can actually see it in a lot more in depth. Big mini-map to see where everyone is. Hop to whatever player and watch them. If this wasn't available in the earlier Call of Duties, it would be a great addition, especially if they start doing some tournament stuff with COD4. It would be a great way to spectate the actual game itself. And then number 10, which is a big ask from myself. I've said this in a previous episode, as well as a lot of people who are into esports and competitive Call of Duty. I'd love to see LAN ready mode done properly this time. Obviously, COD4 had a LAN mode, but you didn't actually get to select your custom classes. They were preset for you, and they were really naff. I think there was only 1 or 2 classes actually worth using. So I'd love it to be not only LAN ready, but be able to have your own custom classes for what you wanted in the LAN mode. That's pretty much it. If you do have any suggestions or thoughts for what you think should be put into the game, what is your wish list? Don't care how long your wish list is, I'd love to hear about it, because I'm sure there's stuff I've missed out or things I don't particularly think are a priority, and I'd love to see what you guys care about in this game, what you're looking forward to. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please do drop a like rating. Please leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already, and I'll